Hey guys, what's going on? It's Sportdeals here with the F1 Mod Challenge, currently racing for Race Engineering, doing our GP2 season, about to make the F1 by the looks of things, if everything goes to plan, of course. And I've a little bit lost my voice, but it's okay, it's not bad, but it's not great either, so if I stop shouting in the middle of a race, it's not because it's anything personal, it's just my voice box is going out the window. A couple of good things I wanted to point out, and scouting-wise, we just scouted Charles Leclerc. Leclerc? Is that how you pronounce it? Leclerc. A lot of people in my videos, comments earlier in the season were saying, need to scout Leclerc, because he's, you know, he's going to be a good driver, he's a good driver. He is amazing. 3.5 stars, 4.5 full potential, good traits all around. Markability is a plus as well at 59%. That is huge. Good driver traits as well. Easy on fuel, racer, endurance champ. Easy on fuel would be absolutely awesome. But the thing is, I've got my drivers set already. Given that Rossi is a paid driver giving us money to drive, and then we've got Mick Schumacher who's going to be able to surpass Leclerc. Maybe next season or the season after we'll look at him as a potential. I think he'd be a great signing. I could sign him as a reserve driver and then put Rossi as a reserve driver, but there's no real point to that at the moment. We're just trying to save back as much money as we possibly can. And it's nearing that point when I need to start looking at the finances a lot more. So we're still building. Currently building a telemetry center. We've upgraded 2 other buildings in our last video, and everything seems to be going well. There is no point right now to design any new components. The car is first, gearbox 1, brakes 1, front wing 1, medium corners third, high speed corners rear wing is third as well. Now you could be saying, well, you could still improve the car because the parts will carry over to the next championship, and that's not necessarily true. If you're continuing the same championship, look, if I'm going from a GP2 season to a GP2 season, those parts will carry over and then become my base stats. So for example, my brakes, let's have a look. Do we have an example here? Fit parts. Let's look at front wing brakes. We're looking at brakes. 478 is my base start component for next season. That's just how they're going to start if I was to stay in GP2. Now, that'd be really cool because I'd go over and then I'd just upgrade them again and keep going up from normal to good to great. We spoke about that in our development video back in episode 16. If you haven't seen that video and you need to understand how to develop the car as much as it possibly can be to an nth degree, please go and see that video. It's number 16 of this exact series. It's called How to Develop Car. Yeah, I believe that's what it's called. But when you get promoted in championships, when you get promoted from anything GP3, GP2, GP2 to Formula 1, you're automatically given the 8th best car on the grid. It doesn't matter if I stayed within GP2 for 10 seasons and my parts compared to the rest of the field were up here, compared to everyone else down here. The programming works in this game is that once you are promoted, you just go up and you were given the 8th best. You're given the 8th best because if you're 9th or 10th, it's too much of a disadvantage. You could be, you know, relegated back down the next season. You give it 8th to be given a chance, but you're given 8th as a bit of a reality check because you're going to be struggling against the higher tier teams. Which means if I invest in design new components now, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. So all our money is just going to building better headquarters. But we don't have the sponsorship. We've got 2-star sponsors. I got 2 offers, one for 2-star, one for 1-star. Can you believe it? Cynical and Terra Firma, they are both exactly the same. Upfront payment 1 mil, bonus payment 500, target position 10th or above. What the hell? I'm going to hold off because there's no point locking that in for 15 races when something good can come up any second, given I expect something to happen. I expect either the drivers to increase their markability or the team markability. It's a big question mark as to how that works exactly. That's one thing in this game that I don't exactly know. Now, we're going into Melbourne. It is technically the 8th, right? No, number 9. It's actually the 9th round. It's an okay track. I don't mind it too much. It looks like it's going to be a nice, cloudy, sunny day. I've done something a little bit differently here. I've actually given Alexander Rossi the better car. And that's only because I want to try to get him up to 2nd position. Maybe not necessarily 2nd, but I want him to get up there. I'm doing a bit of a test, a bit of a litmus test, if you will. Trying to see how good the two drivers are when you reverse the cars. We already know Schumacher is amazing when he gets the best car. Alrighty guys, we might be in a little bit of trouble so far. Schumacher and Rossi are 3rd and 5th so far in the qualifying. This is their last flying lap of the session. That's why you should always invest in a much better driver than a much better car, because the car can actually lift its own ability by the driver alone. And Rossi's actually going to come around in a fresh set of tyres and finish 5th. Hopefully Schumacher can improve on his time here. He's currently sitting just inside our target. But so is Gutierrez. Gutierrez is going faster. In fact, he's going to be a bit of a danger man to knock us out of the top 3. That would be a little bit scary. Schumacher improves. He goes 2nd. That was a great lap by him. That should secure that spot, unless Gutierrez can do something a little bit special over the line. No, he cannot. What about Kvyat? Kvyat goes slower in 6th. So, ooh, what happened? Wehrlein, did he get the fastest lap at the last second? No, looks like Grosjean was able to just finish his lap. Here is your race order, guys. Wehrlein, Grosjean, Schumacher, Gutierrez. It's going to be Rossi, Kvyat. It's your top 6. It's your typical top 6. Typical top 6. TTS. All day, every day in this championship. But the main thing is, Rossi has the better car. Schumacher does not have the better car. I'm getting them on a 6-stop strategy. No, not a 6-stop strategy. A fuel reload at lap 6, because Rossi's tyres only last 6 laps, while Schumacher's, he can push them to 7. And Schumacher's gotten an amazing start while we were just... So was Rossi. Rossi's already leapfrogged up to 3rd. In fact, Rossi's been able to hold back everyone else. Who got off the line poorly? Grosjean absolutely died in the arse off the line, and now he's all the way back in the 6th position. So much for those qualifying positions. It hasn't mattered. Right now, the important part is we are up into 2nd and 3rd position. Both cars are on the podium. Schumacher now wheeling in Wehrlein. Wheeling him in. Wheeling Wehrlein. I love it. Wheeling in Wehrlein. Huh. I'm a poet. I didn't even know it. But right now he's just wheeling him in. We just got to make sure that we're watching our... We want to watch the forecast as well, because it might rain out of nowhere. We want to make sure we watch these tyre temperatures. Once they get in that middle gauge, we're going to wind them back. Now, our target person who we want to make sure we pit and get out ahead of is Kokoto. He is on a softer compound. Well, not a soft. He's on a harder compound. It's just the soft tyres. We're on the super softs. So the main thing is, if we pit, we want to get about 30 seconds in between him and whoever we're pitting. So that's going to be a bit of a mission. But the fact that he's back in 12th means he's probably going to get held up quite considerably. So I'm not too worried about it. And these guys' tyres are really starting to wear up. Is that Rossi already catching Wehrlein? That's actually good stuff. Everyone else is starting to put their strategy in play. We're going to go back to medium, or neutral, however else you want to say it. And not necessarily attack the whole time, but Rossi also has 1 less lap of fuel, which makes him 0.2 of a lap faster, just naturally. He's doing an amazing job so far. He's actually catching on the back of those 2 cars, while Grosjean's gap is up to 3.5 seconds from Rossi's tail. So far, we're doing a really good job. Schumacher putting on a lot of pressure. Hopefully, he can just make the pass stick sometime soon, get by him. I feel like Wehrlein's actually holding him up at this stage. I don't know if he's got more fuel on board or what his strategy might be. But at the moment, this race is just kind of panning itself out. For Schumacher, what we might do is we might go straight into overtake mode and keep these tyres and push. The temperatures seem to be a little bit down there. Can Schumacher make the most of that push strategy that he's on right now over Wehrlein? He seems to be wheeling him in. Wheeling in Wehrlein, there you go, he's done it again. But he just seems to be able to get behind him and float, but not close enough in order to pass. And that's a bit of a painful position to be in, because we're using up more fuel than what we want to. Rossi has excess fuel now, so we get him into high mode. Schumacher's down the inside. He's made the pass stick. Go back into high mode. I'm actually going to get him into medium mode now, because he used up a little bit more fuel than what I wanted. Rossi now on the attack. He's got tyre tread to burn as well as fuel. So we're going to get him into overtake mode as well. And we might actually go 1st and 2nd in this race for the start of it. That gap to Grosjean has stayed the same. It's down to 3.5 seconds. And like typical Grosjean, his smoothness must absolutely suck, because he has to pit every time at least 1 more lap earlier than us. And look at him, he's already going in. So we're going to get Schumacher to go back in. Medium tyres. Rossi can keep burning it up. He's going to have to pit this lap. He wasn't able to make the pass stick. We're going to go back into medium mode. Get that fuel burn. It's done an absolutely amazing job. How many laps have we got? We've got 24 laps. I like to have a look at my strategy mid-race, because it always changes. If you look at it at the start of the race, there's a safety car, it rains, whatever. How are we looking? 6 out of 24. So we can go soft tyres, then we can end on a super soft set. That would be a good for us, I believe. Let's have a look at the fuel. 11.11. 11.11, technically speaking, and that's going to round up to 12, so he's going to come in the pits. Schumacher, on the other hand, can probably last one more lap, and we're going to make him one more lap go longer, because otherwise Rossi's tyres are absolutely going to be... They're going to have to double stack. We don't want them to double stack, because that would be huge, like, as in a big loss. So we might just get Schumacher to go into overtake mode while he pushes away from Wehrlein, whose tyres are... He's got a lot... He's been able to conserve his tyres a lot more better than us. That's, it's not a bit of a shock there, but Rossi coming into the pits. Let's watch this pit stop. Is he going to get out in time? How long is the pit lane? I'm just going to have to check. Looks like, wow, it's a long pit stop, isn't it? But I think it's about a 33-second stop. He comes out in 10th position, so he comes out just behind Grosjean. So Grosjean's been able to get a little bit further ahead of us, but he's going to have less tyre degradation for the end of the race, so I'm quite happy with that. We're going to have to pitch Schumacher now. His tyre tread's absolutely going down, and that's going to be a bit of a pain, because holding him out that one extra lap might have helped Rossi, but it's definitely hurt Schumacher. That's okay. We're going to have to pit him. We'll come in for the softer compounds. His two will last 12 laps, and we'll finish on with the super softs. Fuel will go to 11.01, which will round up to 12 again. Balance stop. That's how we want to go. And how is Rossi going now? He's just sitting there comfortably in 10th position. He's not going to be pressing onto Grosjean. Grosjean's currently pushing. Everyone else is pushing. Look at around us. Everyone is pushing but us. What the hell's going on? Let's just get him into overtake mode. Get him into push mode. It looks like that weather condition is actually prematurely making the tyres much colder than what they have to be. Wow, his fuel's absolutely about to burn out. In fact, he's going to run out of fuel before he crosses the line, I believe. No, he's not. He's just going to get in there. But he does get overtaken in that last little bit, so that was a bit of a worry. Hopefully he can leapfrog Wehrlein, and hopefully Grosjean doesn't jump him or anyone else. We don't want to be held up by these much slower cars who have delayed their pit stops. Schumacher is actually going to come out behind Wehrlein, so be it. That's the way it works, but he comes out ahead of Grosjean. That's really surprising. I'm surprised by that. Rossi jumps up to 4th position after that. We don't have to get him to keep pushing. He can just stay in push mode. What are we going to do? We're under attack from Grosjean. Because of that, we're going to go straight into high mode just to space us out a little bit. I'd rather not get overtaken by Grosjean and be held up. But a lot more tactics at play. Go into overtake mode, blast away from him for a little bit, do what you have to do, and then we'll start to wind it back a little bit and just wheel in Wehrlein again, who's on the conservative mode, complete conservative mode. So that was a bit of a muddle with the fuel at the end there. Fix it going from low to overtake for the engine mode, and it might have scuffled us a little bit more than what we wanted to. It's a shame, but we'll live with it. Main thing is, these guys are in contention for a podium position, both of them actually. 5th position Gutierrez has actually come out on the softer compound. He might be able to make up some time for it now, but those tyres will mean that he'll have to finish on the other compounds. As for weather, no changes. Let's just get this race fast forwarded a little bit. And very different strategies for a little different cars out there. Everyone seems to be sitting in a very okay space and just driving along as they need to. Last lap, we won't have a look at the fastest last laps because they won't matter. Ooh. Stroll has crashed. Now, here's a huge debate. People think that technically, because the AI does it, they put it onto low mode, it actually uses less behind the safety car. I don't know. We need to get a developer to tell us, does actually putting it on low, when that happens, actually make a difference? I don't think it does. I actually do not believe that it does, because you're technically going the speed that the car allows you to, and that should be how the fuel and also how the reliability of the parts are used as well. What do you guys think? Let me know down below. Is there something I'm missing here? It seems to be a lot of people just throw out a random opinion without actually knowing, like, oh yeah, it does this, like, because that's what logic says. It definitely uses less fuel behind the safety car if you go into low mode, because that's what logic says. But reality is, it's not always logic with these games. Some games aren't necessarily that deep. They're deep, but they're not like deep like... I had a good debate recently with someone about the camber, caster, and also the tyre pressures. In reality, if you run higher tyre pressures in a car, which is more air in the tyre, it inflates, and therefore it heats the tyre up. So when you're on the road and running around, it uses up more of the tyre, because the tyre, while you're growing, it heats up as well. But also the tarmac on the road will use it up a lot more. So you should realistically be able to lower your tire pressure in this game, and then go around and do more laps on the same tires than what you would have them on high mode. Whereas, as a matter of fact, it just affects the setup. It just affects your ability to get that 99% setup or 50% setup as to where you leave it. Not necessarily what people are saying theoretically correct. And I know that because I race go-karts. Like, it's you test it and you find out. It's like, oh, well, it makes sense, right? It's not, you know, rocket science. Or is it? Either way, the point is, some people look at this game and they think, oh, it's so deep. Like, you know, it's deep, it's enjoyable, it's a great game, it's strategy, but it's not as, you know, it's not like Inception. It's not Motorception. It's not like as deep as what you think it's going to be. That's my take on it. Take it for what it's worth. Don't look at it as if it's going to be down to a T. This is a racing simulator, you know, this is what they do. It's not always going to be the case. Rossi's tyres seem to be getting used up a lot more than what they should be, so let's start to burn off this fuel. Get them to go into overtake mode and see if they can make anything of it. Meanwhile, Gutierrez is actually caught up to the back of this battle pack. I want to be able to conserve these tyres for later on in the race, so Rossi can go out on another soft tread of super soft tyres. I don't think that's going to be the case, given he's at 42% now. Yikes. They seem to have been used up really fast, and that's going to be, the variables to that is the track conditions, the weather, how much we're using it. Obviously, I've kept the tyre temps in the middle as they have been. They've never been overinflated, but the reality is there's other variables at play that determines the life of the tyres and how fast it gets used. So right now, because we have 4 laps of fuel and we don't have 4 laps of tyres left, that 35% will probably last 1 or 2 more laps, and then we'll have to pit. That's just the way it works. We're going to attack with Schumacher again because he's at the same. He's at 45% with 4 laps of tyres left. Park condition, everything looks fine. There's nothing to really get concerned about, because when you use the engine on high mode or overtake mode, it actually uses up more fuel. There we go. Schumacher's on the attack. Can he get by him? He's side by side. He's going deep underneath Wehrlein. Can he make it stick though? That's the big question. And we're going to have to pit Rossi next lap. So that's a lot earlier than we thought, and a lot earlier than what the tyres were telling us. Rossi hasn't been able to get through yet. Schumacher's still defending from Wehrlein. That's actually really, really miserable right there. That's not what we wanted to see. We want him to just get by him and push out. Wehrlein's got tyres to burn. 48% tyre tread. He has a really good driver characteristics in order for him to do that. Rossi, meanwhile, is all on the attack of... Who is that? Who is that? He's all over the back of Grosjean, who has to pit this lap. He's going to hold us up, but I'm hoping that we can just get by him into the pits. What we might do is, we might pit him now. We have to pit him now anyway. Look at those tyres. He's got, like, I don't know, 9 laps to go. So we're going to have to go to another set of soft compounds, just the way it works. Pit strategy fast, let's do that. Enough fuel to get to the race. 7.34 will... it always goes up. It always rounds off to the nearest 1. Or whole number, or the highest number from the decimal. So that's alright. And here we go. Here's Schumacher. He's going around. He's in the lead. He's in a comfortable position. We should be able to get potentially 2 more laps out of these tyres. Maybe just 1. I don't want to risk it for the biscuit. I don't want to absolutely push him. How's this stop going to go? This is going to be big for us. Can he get out ahead of Grosjean? And the answer is yes, he does. Grosjean gets out ahead of him. He's got Kvyat in between them. That's alright, he's going to be able to get past Kvyat. And I can actually push Rossi on those tyres, because those are going to... He's got 12 laps to do them on, so let's just push him and get away from Grosjean, who's absolutely pushing himself. Okay, so that's another thing. So let's go straight into attack mode. Where is Schumacher? He's just around the other bend. And because his tyres are going to start to get eaten alive, I think we can pit this lap. What are we going to pit? Soft tyres 7 and 8. We should be able to just get away without the super softs, which will give us a 15% bonus. I'm going to risk it for the biscuit. Remember, he's got the second tier car. He doesn't have the main car, but the main thing is, I think he's going to be able to do it. Here we go. We're going to pit him now. Super softs. Fast. Fast. 6.8. In he comes. Bang. There we go. In the pit stops he comes. Whirlwind is going to do another lap. Whirlwind can do another lap. Look at how much tyre tread he's got left. How is Schumacher going to fare? Hopefully he comes out ahead of Rossi. That is a big thing. If he can, there's a mistake with the refueling. It's upset his time a little bit. Will he be able to get out in front of the guys? Yes, he does. He comes out in second. Quite convincingly, actually. Meanwhile, Kvyat is now under attack from Rossi. We're going to get Rossi to go back into neutral mode. Grosjean, I'm hoping that Kvyat can get out of the way ASAP because he's just going to be able to hold up Grosjean. He's just going to hold up Rossi, back him up into Grosjean and Gutierrez, who's also catching. I'd rather him get away because Grosjean's on a bit of a charge at the moment. He's on a bit of a violent rampage. Rossi at the moment, I just want him to get by Daniil Kvyat. Can he make it stick? Nah, he's not in a position to do it just yet. Let's go into push mode. Let's see something happen here. I need it to happen. I need it to happen. This needs to happen. Come on, Rossi. Get by him. He's still fighting him. He's got the position. No, he doesn't. He's now all the way down the inside. They're going side by side. Have they touched? No. Is that... Are you serious? Kvyat's going to go around again on those tyres. That is absolutely ridiculous. Where is Whirlwind in all this? He's now pitting at 27%. He's effectively 13 seconds ahead of young Mickey Schumacher. Rossi's now through. Kvyat is now successfully holding up Grosjean, which is what we wanted to see. That's good for us. Let's just slow the pace down a little bit and just mark where we are in this race. Okay, Schumacher. Let's go back into medium mode. Whirlwind goes in the pit. We should be able to pass Whirlwind convincingly here. He's obviously not done a great stint on those tyres, and it's pushed him back far enough that we're going to be able to leapfrog him. In fact, Rossi moves up to second position. He's got Whirlwind all over his tail though, with a fresh set of tyres. Why Whirlwind didn't pit for super softs is besides me. Maybe he had poor tyre management and didn't keep an extra set for the race. Used them up in practice, used them up in qualifying, but just didn't have an extra set to burn. But that's good for us. He's on the same tyre tread as Rossi. Rossi's got the better car of the two with Mickey Schumacher up ahead. Mickey Schumacher's tyres are starting to go below where they need to be. I wish that wasn't the case. How far ahead is he? He's up by 10 seconds. I'm going to get him to sit in there because it's enough of a gap where we're not going to get bothered by the guys behind us, I imagine. Rossi's fuel load. He's got excess fuel apparently, so let's go into high mode, start to burn it up. He's under attack from Whirlwind. I'm hoping that he can hold him off long enough. Schumacher, get him into high mode. We need him to push that gap out a little bit more because those tyres might not last the entire race. It worked out for us because he'd been able to leapfrog and do some really consistent times. Look at him, he's in the 148s compared to Grosjean, who's in the 149s. We're not worried about the fastest lap of the race, although I wouldn't be surprised if he has the fastest lap of the race. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. And Rossi's second fastest out there as well. So Rossi, all eyes are on Rossi while Whirlwind attacks him from afar. Grosjean seems to be up Whirlwind's ass. Gutierrez seems to be catching up to that battle pack. So we're starting another lap. Rossi doesn't have enough fuel to get to the end, so we're going to go back to medium mode. Hopefully that fuel load will come back to us as we're not pushing that hard, but we are definitely going to get passed by Whirlwind. I can feel it. I can smell it in the air. There you go. He makes the pass stick. Nothing we can really do about it. Drivers do make bad cars look good, and that's what Whirlwind's doing. Effectively, he's in a good car, but that's what they do. Now, does Mickey Schumacher have enough of a gap that Whirlwind's not going to be a threat? 14 seconds, tyre treads at 28%. Yeah, he's fine. There's not going to be any threat from there. Attack mode for Rossi. Whirlwind seems to have a bit of a mechanical issue. We've got 2 laps to go once we cross the line. Rossi's fuel load isn't great. It's hanging in there, but it's not fantastic. So, meanwhile, Daniil Kvyat, all the way back in 7th, just posted the fastest second sector. Maybe he's going for the fastest lap of the race. That would absolutely surprise me, but let's just monitor that as well. Fastest lap by Kvyat, a 146, so he's going to get the points. Unless in the last lap we go Schumacher, attack mode. The Indy 500 winner, Alexander Rossi, now attacking all over the back of Whirlwind. Look at all those back markers. They've done it, they've scripted it in such a way that the back markers no longer get the way. There's Schumacher. Is he depleting time? No, he seems to be gaining time. He just did a 147.64 as a response. Rossi, can he hold off 4th position? I think he can. I think he can hold off a charging Grosjean. Whirlwind just snuck ahead of us. If we can jump him at the end of the line here, let's just slow it up. If Whirling can jump him at the end of the line, that would be absolutely amazing. The other thing we're monitoring is his fuel load. He's on 0.1, 0.09. He's going to have enough just to finish the race, does he? There we go. Finishes third. Both cars on the podium. It's an unfortunate scenario because I would have loved to have gotten a 1-2. Maybe Whirling might get picked up for an illegal component. That's something to keep a bit of an eye on, you know. I don't know. It could happen. You know, we've seen stranger things happen. He's broken up the 1-2. But yeah, effectively, Schumacher was able to race a second-tier car and be better than Rossi. There's not that much of a difference between the cars, but my point stands. Driver traits, driver ability surpass the car's ability. Scrutineering, checking cars, low-risk brake for ourselves. We have no issues with the rule brakes. Does anyone else know? Whirling gets the 2 additional points, but we were in the round because effectively both of our cars scored well on the points, first and third. Mickey Schumacher, amazing job. How happy is the... What are the fans saying? Off to the bookies to collect my winnings. Thank you, Racing Engineering and Mickey Schumacher. No worries, champ. Hashtag me anytime. My Twitter is Spot the Aussie. Again, you can hit me up there for any questions. Maybe you just want to chat. Maybe you got something to say. Maybe you're like, oh, screw this guy and you want to tell me off. I don't know. Champion happiness, 19%. Should be able to go up. Should go up. 9%. There we go. Bang. And look at that. Schumacher just keeps getting better and better. I can't believe that. Alexander Rossi's relationship with his mechanic goes down by 6%. Why? Did he have a bad pit stop? I didn't see it. I know Schumacher did and he still gained it. Oh! Oh, new trait. Champagne spraying around plus 15. Fair call, fair call. 2.2 mil, that's what we want to see. That is big bucks. We're back in the green. What are we going to develop, guys? Let's look at the buildings that we're going to build next. Must respond to the interview. Let's do the interview. I don't mind interviews. I don't usually add interviews to the videos because I feel like it's filler. Great win for Mickey Schumacher. What was the key to success? It's simple. I made all the right calls. I mean, I did, right? Boom. Happiness chairman, he's happy. Rossi told us he was absolutely delighted coming third. Does that show a like it? No, it was a good result. It was a good result. He's entitled to enjoy a podium. Cool. Let's go build another building, guys. Race winner, 15 around. That's what we saw before. Can't complete. Okay, what are we going to build? What are we going to build? I think, with the money, I think we're limited to what we're going to be able to pick. I think we're going to have to pick the simulator. Let's check this one out. Upgrade. And it worked. Boom. Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to start saving money for next year's championship because I'm going to have to build the car and I want to stack everything in improvability like I did in this season. In episode 16 called Develop Your Car Properly. I basically explained quite thoroughly what you need to do. We've set our budget low. How much money do we have saved up? Next year's cut, 5.7 mil. The championship winnings for this particular championship, I'm not sure. I imagine it's going to be around the 20 to 30 mark. I think so. We'll manage. We'll manage. No more spending money. That's basically it until the end of the season. Thanks very much for tuning in, guys. Be sure to like this video. Subscriptions have been amazing. I'm almost at 1,400. That's like, I don't know, when I started doing this, I didn't, you know, I wanted to do things so people enjoyed it and I did them well. I don't just want to spit videos out. But thanks so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll check you guys out shortly.